Morning folks, afternoon, evening, whatever it is. Welcome to another Irish whiskey review with me, Marty Macaulay, where we review another Scotch. Hope you're all been well. I haven't recorded one of these for a little while, just to let you in on a secret. I know I've released some over the last couple of weeks, but I've been busy. And yeah, it's been sort of flat out. So I had a few recorded and I've sort of released them over a period of time. Not unlike some of the whiskies and the way they have been released over the last while. So yeah, just hang on, I just want to adjust something here, guys. Yeah, that's okay. Just wanted to adjust something. So I've been on my travels, been in Scotland quite a lot, and therefore I've managed to pick up a few other scotches and stuff that I can't really get. I could probably order some of them online, but it's always nice for going in and having a look and a bit of a browse, seeing what's there, making your selection from that. Making your selection. These days this can be quite tricky. This can be something that is very hard, because stuff is selling out. It's just disappearing off shelves. People are putting them into collections. Limited edition stuff coming out, therefore it gets bought up and fired over into auction sites to be flipped over, and so on and so forth. And well, obviously that has its critics. I don't particularly like it, but I've bought whiskies out of my price range for drinking before. I think probably lots of people have. And you buy them thinking they're going to be an investment, and you put them away. I find it hard to be very critical of the flippers when I've done more or less the same thing myself. I bought a fair amount of Macallan Concept number 1, knowing that it wasn't great whiskey, thinking that at £80 a bottle it was probably overpriced, but knowing that it probably was going to go up in value. It did. There's no shortage of it. Anybody that wanted to get a bottle of Concept number 1, all they had to do was go through an airport at any point and pick up a bottle of it. It was no real hardship. I don't even think it was an airport exclusive, was it? I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter. But Macallan went, poof. Now, hot on the heels of Macallan doing it, so has Springbank. We've been talking about this for years. Everybody knew Springbank Distillery was going to start climbing up and so on. A few other ones. But to be honest, Springbank isn't the only player in Campbeltown. And I've said for a long time, Springbank Distillery is just like a museum, an actual proper working museum. It's unreal what it is. It's in Campbeltown, definitely the least known of the Scotch whisky regions. But to be honest, Glen Scotia is probably a better malt, probably a better drink, and lots of people would agree with that. Springbank has all the history and heritage and so on, but in terms of actual flavour and taste, Glen Scotia probably edge it on most of their malts. If I'm honest, Victoriana, it's a superb drink. I've long before I ever started doing reviews, my Victoriana went out the window. I really should get another bottle of it because it's a fabulous malt. Quick history, anyone who doesn't know, Campbeltown used to be the heart and soul of Scotch whisky production. Campbeltown had 35 distilleries, 36, something like that, in a tiny little town, churning it out, pumping it up into Glasgow, exporting it all over the place, and then they all went bum, 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 until they were down to 2, Springbank and Glen Scotia. Now, because it has its own whisky regional status, in order to retain that status, there has to be 3 distilleries. So Mitchell's, who own Springbank, reopened the Glengyle distillery, just to keep the regional status, and thank God they did. Thank God they did, because Campbeltown really, it will be better known. There's another couple of distilleries coming. I can certainly see within the next 5 to 10 years, many more distilleries. Don't be surprised that there's 10 distilleries in it in the next 10 years. I wouldn't be at all surprised if some of the big players turned around and went, we're missing a trick here. Some corporate business meeting, some head honchos turn around and say, tell you what, here's 20 million, go and build a distillery in Campbeltown, because we don't want to miss out. And I don't think that they really shouldn't. Now, with that in mind, Springbank, you cannot get a bottle of Springbank for love nor money. Anywhere. Just anywhere. You can't get it at all. I saw a couple of bottles of the 15-year-old lurking about in a very obscure off-licence way up in the north of Scotland. But it was sitting beside this. And rather than buy the 15-year-old, lug it about, and well, I've drunk it many a time before. All they'll be trying to do, to be honest, what would I have done with it? Set it on a shelf, looked at it a few times, probably thought, probably double my money on that. Stick it in an auction, drunk it before, yeah, who knows? But I might have done. But this is new. This sold out really quick, and this is a good thing. I like this. Because you can't get Springbank, it's just basically selling out all over the place. What these guys have done is they have, Springbank have got all of the malts. This is what it says. This blended malt Scotch whisky has been created solely from Campbeltown's 5 distinctive single malts. 100% Campbeltown whiskies, blended and bottled by Springbank Distillers in Campbeltown on Scotland. So five distinctive single malts. What do they mean by that? If there's only 3 distilleries, the 5 distinctive single malts. Springbank make Springbank. They make Long Row, and a very underrated Irish style. Don't sue me, anybody, for using that, because I know there's cease and desist orders going out for this. Irish style, triple distilled Hazelburn. Glengyle, number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Glen Scotia, all in one bottle. This we like. This is a nice collaboration. This is people doing blended malts. This is people setting out, we're running out of supply and stock, but here we go. This is Campbeltown. Get Campbeltown out. Boom, boom. Because they know, a rising tide lifts all ships. So, my advice to anybody out there who's wanting to collect whiskies, Glen Scotia, very underpriced, loads of bargains to be had at auctions. Get on them, try them, and as the whole Campbeltown region starts to grow, so will all the prices. So if you want to invest, nothing wrong with it, do it. So what's this like? It's 46%, yep. So I assume it's non-chill filtered. Doesn't say on it, but I'm going to assume it's non-chill filtered. Colouring, doubt it. Possibly a little bit, but nothing major. It's not really going to be a... Now, I happen to say, I've said this many a time before, that Campbeltown is, it's only across the water from me, so it's very close to me, and I've been there a few times, and it's so underrated. It's a fabulous drink, fabulous place, fabulous town, and yeah, it's really good. And the two, the Springbank and Glengyle are just, they're all on one site, and then Glen Scotia's about 5 minutes walk, less than 10 minutes walk maybe. Now, first thing I will say, at 46, it's a little heavy on the nose. The alcohol coming off it is a little heavy. So, before we even taste it, I'm going to put a little touch of water on it. just to pull that alcohol down and let it open up a little bit. There's no age statement to this. You can just see those oils and congeners just moving about there. Super, 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 super. Straight away, it's taken out that fire on the nose. It's just settled it away down. There's no point in me even trying that to taste it the way it was, because it's just too heavy in the ABV for what it is. Don't ever be critical of that. Don't ever think, oh, it's too harsh. This is not quality or something. No, that's just the way it's been produced. Touch of water works wonders. Miracle stuff. Fresh, clean, hay, like a cut grass, floral note coming off it. It lifts very easily, and that's why I think it needed that little touch of water just at the start, because it's very clean coming all the way up, and it moves up to that burn nearly on the nose, and it has potency to it. It has a certain kick to it, which is not necessarily typical of your Campbeltown malts. They're kind of known for being creamier and a little bit, having a little bit sort of seasidey notes to it. Not like Talisker or something like that, but a little bit more touches of brine in it and so on. Not where it's overly salty or that, but it's that kind of seasidey note to it. But lovely sort of creamy, heavy, nice body to them. First thing is the mouthfeel. This tastes luxurious. I've put water in it, probably taking it down 43% or whatever it is now. And it's still got that lovely textural and structure to it. It's lovely. Lovely. Because there's long row in it, it's peated. But it's a very, very subtle peat. Very subtle. The peatiness, the smoke sort of sits here, sits back, and the fresh sort of barley notes, some cereal, some sort of viscousy syrup almost in texture, and taste those cereal barley notes. The smoke just happening to be about. On the finish, as it develops, the finish does move slightly, but not huge finish, not a huge development of finish, which is probably typical from what feels as if it's fairly young. I'm going to say there's probably not much more than 5 or 6 year old whiskey in this, but it's not bad at all. Now, to be fair, it's £70 a bottle. I like it, price wise, but then the Springbank, and it sure you may as well throw any amount of money at it, really. Touch of pine cone feel to this. Tiny little bit of like piney, lifted woodiness coming to it. Disappears quite quickly, but it's there, and then it comes through on this lovely development. It doesn't develop hugely, but it develops. It almost intensifies a little bit, and then just dissipates away. It's a lovely journey. In terms of flavour, it's not packed full of flavour. It doesn't. It's not It doesn't need to be. I know that sounds a bit daft. This is, I mean, does it even tell you what casks it's finished in? I'm going to assume it's bourbon casks, but the casks, again, it's not the casks that are doing the work here. They haven't even said what cask finish it is, because that's not the point. There's not massive bourbon flavour to it. There's not sherry cask notes to it. And it's not driven by that. It's driven by the actual malt content, the actual spirit-led aspects of this. That's why they're setting this out. They don't want massive cask finishes. They're not necessarily pushing loads of vanilla, loads of sweetness, that's not what they're aiming for. And I have to say I quite like that. These days, certainly in Irish whiskey, we are bombarded by any new cask that they can get their hands on. Amarone and Marsala and different sherries and different obscure wines from various regions of Europe and different oak and all that, but change and move it and add flavour and create their little space. This isn't doing that. This is saying, this is what a Campbeltown whisky's like. Lovely mouthfeel, balanced, with structure, not overly sweet. A little bit of mixture of possibly a little bit of smoke there, possibly a hint of sweetness, possibly a little whatever. And I have to say, that's to be congratulated. I have to give this a mark. Probably give it 7.5 out of 10. As you know, I'm not that big a fan of doing marks because I think it's a bit arbitrary. But at 46%, there's possibly a lot of give in this. You could probably put another teaspoon of water in that quite easily and have a totally different journey with it. In fact, I'll probably do that now. I think I'll just have a little bit of a whiz with that. Just put another half teaspoon because I've drunk half of it. And let it sit. You see, it's just got fresher, and there's like a real sort of fresh, medium butter nose coming off that. Yeah, it smells creamy. It smells dairy product without it being sour or anything like that. It's sort of fresh dairy. Probably a bit more vanilla coming in on it. Bourbon cask finishing coming in there a little bit. I've maybe undone a little bit of what I was saying before that second bit of water went in. Probably overdone it a little bit there with the water. Probably overdone it a little bit. So maybe at full with a teaspoon and a half probably would have worked a little bit better. Probably overdone that a little bit just to take some of the structure out of it. This is going to be hard to find for a day or two, but hopefully this is going to be a standalone product. It's a recreation of another Campbeltown Loch, used to be available quite a lot. It disappeared, but this is now being brought back. I hope they stick with this. I hope this gets the credit that it deserves for not being a cask finished, pushed forward, cask driven spirit. It's not. They're not even saying it's our spirit led bottling. It's Campbeltown led bottling being set forward and presented. It's nice. It's good, well crafted, and I have to say, there's only good things coming from Campbeltown over the next while. And anyone who knows anything about whiskey is going to have to be excited about that, because it's only but fair that Campbeltown reaches the status back to where it was, because there's so much potential there if it's done right. So, if you can get a bottle of this, pick it up. If you're going to ask stupid money at an auction, don't. Just don't. But if you can get a bottle of this, I would pick it up because it's well worth doing. On that note, hit the subscribe button for me, please, guys. Or share it. Do all that because we want to get the subscribe. We want to get the numbers up. Because Justin's always in my ear about it. Watch us on a Saturday night. Me and Justin on Irish Whiskey Review live every Saturday night at 10 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, blah 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 blah, whatever. He does all that. I do the drinking. Works for me. Talk to you soon again, guys. Take care and stay safe. All right.